field of tissue engineering has been around for almost 30 years, and I think there's exciting potential to see some very significant clinical successes in tissue engineering within the next 10 years. But when you start to consider solid organs, those tissues in our body have a very robust vascular network. So a fair amount of our work is focused on the issue of vascularization. How do we create new networks of blood vessels, trying to understand how these vessel networks form. There's really two approaches in the literature so far to try to create new networks of blood vessels. One of them involves the delivery of proteins that stimulate new blood vessel formation. The other approach is really based on the use of cells. So our approach has been on that cell side of things. We did a very systematic analysis of the populations of cells that form blood vessels. And what we found in this study is that the identity of those supporting cells is critical to the quality of the vessels that form. Specifically, if we use a stem cell from the bone marrow or from your fat, we get very robust vasculature that is very high quality. But if we use a more generic stromal cell, something that's readily available, the vessels that we formed with those cells were very leaky. They actually almost behaved kind of like tumor vessels. And so what this study says is that you need to be pretty careful about which cells you use. I would say that we still have a lot of basic science to do. We're learning a lot in the past 20 years about what cells would we want to use to build new blood vessels. But whole organs like hearts and pancreas and liver, I still think is probably 20 years away or more. This vascularization hurdle is probably the biggest one right now. And then the second biggest hurdle is that for those large organs, they have very complex functions. So we need to be able to recreate those functions. So we need the plumbing and we need the proper function. Those are still the two biggest things that we have to overcome in the next 20 years.